guys, this is your instructional video for November 5th and November 6th, and we're going to be talking about tropical Africa today. We're going to have a little bit of a lecture, and then I'm going to give you some instructions for you to follow to complete your lessons for today and for tomorrow. So we're going to be covering a chunk of pages 142 to 156, and I strongly encourage you to go back and look at the pages, particularly the brown boxes, just to get a more complete idea of tropical Africa, but we will be lecturing about that today. Okay, so tropical Africa was actually a somewhat mysterious place for many centuries. Very little was known about tropical Africa before the 15th century, and when we're talking about tropical Africa, we're talking about lands south of the Sahara. But anyway, very little was known, with the exception of the kingdom of Aksum, which was the first and greatest Christian kingdom in Africa, and it flourished around AD 300. So besides that, not a lot was known. And part of this reason has to do with the fact that the nations in this area did not have a written history. And without a written history, it's hard for the what happened to be passed down. But archaeologists have found evidence of advanced cultures in the area. People who would have come into contact with these nations would have been caravans who traveled across the Saharan desert. This would have been in the Middle Ages, and they would have interacted with cities like Timbuktu and Geu, and they would have been there for gold and ivory, and they would have been there for slaves. The African slave trade actually began with the Arabs, and the African tribes engaged in slave trade long before Europeans became involved in the degrading practice. The Europeans do arrive on the scene, and they do also get involved in the slave trade during the 16th century. One notable person who was involved in the slave trade was John Newton, and he was actually one of the most notorious slave traders in West Africa, but he met God and he became a Christian, and he had the amazing testimony of abandoning that lifestyle of being a slave trader and recognizing that it was evil and coming to Christ. And we, of course, his most famous song that we know him for is Amazing Grace. But he was a preacher, and he expounded on the evils of slavery for the rest of his life after he was converted. Okay, so let's talk about Western Africa. So Western Africa consists of multiple countries. We have Senegal, Gambia, Guinea-Bissau, Guinea, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, Ghana, Togo, Benin, and Nigeria. Now that's a lot of countries, but you can see that it actually is a huge chunk of Western Africa right there. So what's the climate like in this area? Well, the climate ranges from steppe, savanna to rainforest, and we have an average rainfall in this area of more than 50 inches, and with some exceptions, of course. For instance, some areas along the coast receive well over 80 inches. The tropical climate really provides ideal growing conditions. So I want you to open up your books, because like I said earlier, it's good to look at the brown boxes and read about Bishop Samuel Ajay Crowther on page 145 and Communism in Africa on page 146. And after you've read that, you can keep watching the lecture. Okay, so let's briefly touch on Central Africa. We have in Central Africa, which is in this area right here, we have the countries of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Central African Republic, Cameroon, Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, Sao Tome, and Principe. This area is generally higher than Western Africa as far as its elevation goes, with an average elevation of 900 to 1,500 feet. This is the home of the Congo River, which is an incredibly important river to the area, and it's also a notable historical river. Lots of interesting things happen there. We also have Boyomo Falls in the area, which is one of the world's largest waterfalls in volume. And we also have tropical rainforest climate and tropical savanna in this area. Okay, so open up your book and read about hunger in Africa. That's on page 149. Okay, so Eastern Africa. Eastern Africa consists of Ethiopia, Eritrea, Djibouti, Somalia, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Kenya, and Tanzania. So we have this, we're talking about this particular aspect of Africa. So open up your book and read Africa's Battle Against Disease. This is on page 145, and Tropical Africa, which is on page 155. Okay, so after you finish reading that, I want to talk to you about your second half of your assignment. So the second half of your assignment is going to involve watching a movie that is posted on Edpuzzle. It's a documentary. It's called Congo, A Journey to the Heart of Africa. And it's, I think I edited it so it's a little bit shorter, but I think it's about 30 to 40 minutes long. So I'm giving you today and tomorrow to finish watching it and to answer these questions right here, and then turn them into me through Dropbox. If you have any questions, please email. Thank you.